We are live from Studio A inside Gaylord College at the University of Oklahoma, ready to talk all things Sooner sports. And we have OU cross country here joining us tonight. In an extremely controversial game, the Sooners battled Auburn. I'm your host, Aiden Tyler, and I'm joined by Cam Williams and Hallie McPherson. And this is Sooner Sports Pad.
Welcome to Sooner Sports Pad, presented by OU Health, proud to be Oklahoma's flagship academic health system.
Well, the sun was scorching, and so was the Oklahoma defense. Our Sooner Sports Pad reporters were at the game and have reports on the football team who is on fire. But football's not the only sport we're talking about. We have special guests in the house tonight who could run for days. We'll also bring you what you need to know about other OU teams performing at a high level. But for the first time ever, the Auburn Tigers traveled to Norman, Oklahoma, and they did some damage to the Sooners QB. Sooner Scoop reported earlier today that OU quarterback John Mateer broke a bone in his throwing hand that requires surgery. You can see him grimacing in some pain here. The injury occurred on this play when Auburn defensive end Keldrick Falk hit Mateer's hand. Mateer is expected to miss close to a month of action with the Red River rivalry game just 3 weeks away. Michael Hawkins Jr. will get the start against Kent State. When I said it earlier, Auburn making their first trip to OU. They've never beaten them, but this could help. A fumble recovered and ran back for a touchdown. Controversy starts here, though, as it was called back and ruled incomplete. Sooners would kick a field goal to go up 3-0. Well, later on in the second quarter, Isaiah Satania was hiding. It was a deception play. Catches a touchdown. It's 10-3. The SEC would later say that should have been a penalty and never counted. Auburn, though, would get the lead late at 17-16 when John Mateer would lower the shoulder. He's money. Gives the Sooners the lead 22-17. And R. Mason Thomas does it himself. He's uncaged and gets a safety on his former quarterback. Sooners take this one 24-17.
Yeah, Aiden, the offense in this one took a little while to get going, but when Auburn went to take the lead with 7:08 left in the fourth, the offense and John Mateer came through. Sooner Sports Pad reporter Michael Thompson has more on OU's offense.
SEC football is back at Owen Field, and it is off to a much better start than last year. OU took down Auburn 24-17, and Isaiah Satania played a huge role, logging a career high in receptions with 9 and in passing yards with 127. His quarterback, John Mateer, knows how important he has been the last couple weeks.
Yeah, he's been great. I mean, he's super smart and super reliable. He's going to be where he needs to be every time, and that's why he's getting the production.
I mean, really proud of Isaiah. Made some big-time plays for us, especially whenever we needed it. Just a consistent kid who brings it every single day. Really talented kid, smart, high football IQ, and someone that number 10 trusts. I trust, Coach Jones trusts, BV trusts, everybody trusts him.
I mean, first couple games wasn't getting the ball as much as I wanted to, but, you know, I just really got to keep in mind, like, every time I get the ball, you know, you got to make it count. You got to make them feel me every time I get it. I mean, that's why I came here. And, I mean, air raid type offense, you know, you can't beat it, especially with somebody like Coach Arbuckle, somebody like John, you know. So, I mean, that's why I came here.
I mean, y'all are just beginning to see what he can do. I mean, he's incredible, and we're glad that he's putting it on display and making incredible plays like he does. You know what I mean? Whether they cover him or not.
Even with the win, the Sooner offense wasn't perfect. The run game didn't look great, only had 32 yards. But OU will have a chance to fix all of the kinks before they take on Kent State as they have a bye week. Reporting from Owen Field, Michael Thompson, Sooner Sports Pad.
Now, although this Sooner offense has yet to have an explosion on the offensive side of the ball, John Mateer still leads the SEC in passing yards, and before his injury was reported today, in On3's Heisman rankings, he was still number 1, and Oklahoma has 2 players in the top 10 in receiving yards, with Jaron Koenig being 5th and Isaiah Satania coming in at number 9. But now, it's time for Mike Hawkins.
And on the defense side, Cam, OU initially said that the defense recorded a school record of 10 sacks against Auburn, but later announced that it was actually 9 sacks, tying the school record. Landon Thomas has the rest of the details on the defense's dominating performance.
10 sacks is a new school record OU football set against Auburn in their first SEC game of the season, winning 24-17. Senior captain R. Mason Thomas led the way in the second half after he missed the first half due to a targeting penalty he had last week against Temple. In that second half, he had 2 TFLs, 2 sacks, and included the game-winning safety.
Yeah, I just wanted to celebrate with my guys. Like, I low-key, like, didn't know what to do. I just started just jumping up and down and just throwing my arms like with the crowd, because I know the crowd's right there. And then once I got in the sideline, Jacob Henry came and tackled me, and that was just funny, just the best moment of my college career right now.
He was ready. He's been ready all week. You know what I'm saying? He'll remind us. He'll say second half, just because that's when he was gonna come in. But as soon as that second half came, he was ready. You know, the first sack that he had, as soon as he got in, I knew he was gonna do something. But that safety, you know, he was just like, let me go get him. And, you know, that's why we backed off and just let him do his thing. He did it.
Wish we could have him first half, but, I mean, can't. So it was great for him to come back. I told him, you know, you don't got to do anything special. You're going to do extra, just be you. And he came out and he did that.
Even with the dominant performance on the line, the team's defense is still without a single turnover through 4 weeks of the season. Reporting from Owen Field, Landon Thomas, Sooner Sports Pad.
Thanks, Landon. Jackson Arnold could not catch a break against this OU defense. Defensive lineman Jaden Jackson led the team and had a career high of 2.5 sacks. David Stone was also a standout with a career best of 4 solo tackles and a sack, making it difficult for Auburn to make quick plays.
Well, coming up, we'll talk all the big news that came out of the SEC this week, from future opponents to weekly awards, and even a statement that only stirred the pot more. We'll have everything you need to know with the Sooners on their bye week. Welcome back to Sooner Sports Pad. We've still got plenty of OU football to talk, starting with the big news of the week. Yesterday, On3 reported that OU's permanent opponents for the next 4 years would be Texas, Missouri, and Ole Miss. Earlier today, the SEC announced OU's full schedule of opponents for the next 4 seasons. Next season, the Sooners will notably take on Georgia and Florida on the road. They will also play host to Texas A&M, which should be an exciting battle. Looking even further, the Crimson and Cream face Vanderbilt and Arkansas in 2027. There's a plethora of exciting matchups for Sooner faithful to look forward to.
Yeah, Aiden, Sooner fans will be excited about this news. Defensive end R. Mason Thomas and punter Grayson Miller were awarded SEC honors this week for their performances against Auburn. Thomas, who won Defensive Lineman of the Week, had 2 sacks in only 1/2 of play, and his second sack turned into a safety that sealed the game for OU. Miller was awarded Special Teams Player of the Week after punting 5 times with an average of 54.4 yards per punt and a long of 66 yards in the 24-17 win.
Aiden talked about the 24-yard touchdown Isaiah Satania had in the second quarter, but that first OU touchdown brought a lot of controversy with it. The SEC released a statement saying no simulated replacements or substitutions may be used to confuse opponents, including any hideout tactic with or without a substitution, also stating the officiating crew did not properly interpret the action as a hideout tactic and the play should have resulted in a team unsportsmanlike conduct.
Well, the Sooners don't play this week as they get some needed rest after a month of victories. They're only 2 wins away from matching last season's win total and are ranked in the top 10 for the first time in 98 weeks. Everything seems to be going well for the Sooners. Brent Venables' squad hasn't looked this good since the 2023 victory against Texas. R. Mason Thomas knows the Sooners have to stay headstrong even on the bye week.
We have more work to do. They don't, like she said, they're not giving trophies out for 4-0. We keep that win show mentality. Yeah, we just beat Auburn, but believe it or not, we still have 8 more games with tough SEC opponents. And hats off to Auburn because they definitely had a great football team.
The Sooners have an extra week to prepare for Kent State, who haven't beaten an FBS opponent since November of 2022. The Golden Flashes just aren't good. Kent State has 1 All-American in their history, and OU has 7 Heisman winners. Cam, what Sooners getting comparisons to a former Heisman winner?
Yeah, Aiden, quarterback John Mateers getting deemed the nickname Money Mateer after his early season performances. And as most of you know, the nickname comes from former Heisman winner and Texas A&M legend Johnny Money Manziel. But even though Mateer's grateful for being compared to Manziel, he knows they are different.
I like it. You know, I don't want to do the Money Manziel. Like, you know, me and him are probably kind of different people. He's awesome, but, you know, his stories are a little different than mine. But shout out. Anyway, it's cool. Like, to have a nickname, to have something that people can root for it's awesome, and I'm honored to have that.
It was a sack attack on the defense side for OU. As we said earlier, OU tied the school record with 9 sacks, and it was all against OU's former quarterback, Jackson Arnold. Auburn had 67 rushing yards on 35 attempts. For Auburn's final possession of the game, they had 7 plays and had a -8 yards. And the cherry on top of that was our Mason Thomas getting the safety on Arnold. But despite the performance Arnold had, Brent Venables says he has a bright future ahead of him.
He's going to have plenty of amazing days. He had some amazing moments today, some great moments today. And he's still just a baby, you know. All of his best days are in front of him. He's a young player and incredibly talented, great leader. And he's got great days in front of him. I'm just glad that at the right time, you know, we made the plays on him when we needed to.
Let's take a look at the college football landscape this week since OU is off. Third-ranked Penn State hosts 6th-ranked Oregon in their annual whiteout game Saturday. Massive playoff implications there.
Yeah, Aiden, I like that game, but I'm going to be looking at 17th-ranked Bama going to Athens to face 5th-ranked Georgia. Ryan Williams versus Zach Branch is must-see TV.
That is definitely one to tune into, Cam, but the 4th-ranked LSU Tigers go head-to-head with 13th-ranked Ole Miss in Oxford, and one team will be coming out 4-1.
Well, we just got to talk about the games we're looking forward to the most this weekend, but I want to hear from our audience to see what games they are looking forward to the most. Landon, what game are you going to keep your eye on?
Keep my Georgia-Bama game last season, you know, very cinematic game, went down to the wire. I think it's going to be a good one once again this season.
Yeah, Ryan Williams put on a show in that game. Ethan, who are you looking out for?
I'm going to be watching the coachless Virginia Tech Hokies take on NC State. Go Hokies.
That's going to be a really good game, especially since the head coach just got fired. I'm interested to see what goes on there. And coming up, Hallie and Cam will sit down with 2 members of the cross-country team. Stick with us for that interview. Welcome back. It's time for a Sooner Sports Pad exclusive interview. Cam and Hallie are sitting down with our guests who have been running right by their competition. Welcome OU Cross Country. Lily Critch is a sophomore from Indianapolis, Indiana, who transferred in from Oregon. Lily's personal best 5K time was 18 minutes and 27 seconds. Adrian Stufan is a graduate student from Washington, D.C., who transferred in from the University of Portland. His best 5K time, 14 minutes and 26 seconds. Now we know our guests. Cam, Hallie, take it away.
Thank y'all so much for joining us in Sooner Sports Pad tonight. Now, both of y'all have big meets this week at championship courses. What are y'all expecting?
So the women are going to Gaines Creek, which is the nationals course, and I think across the board we have all teams representative in all conferences. So I think just going out there and making a statement, because this is our first like real competition, and I think we have something special building for OU distance.
Now, Lily, you transferred from Oregon. Just talk to me a little bit about the differences between cross country there compared to here.
Cross country at Oregon, so we had a much bigger team at Oregon. It was about 32 women on the distance squad when it's much smaller here, which I like. But yeah, I mean, it's much different, but I think this is a really good fit for me.
And what are you expecting for the men's side this weekend?
Yeah, so the men are headed to Oklahoma State to race the Cowboy Jamboree. There's going to be 4 ranked teams there, so it'll be really good to mix it up, get in some high-level competition, just kind of test the waters for what's to come in the postseason.
And for both of y'all, what does an everyday cross-country practice look like?
So we usually practice we meet at 6:30 a.m. due to the heat and the humidity. And then if it's like a workout day, sometimes we'll do like a 2-mile warm-up, and then we'll do whatever session it is. So tempo runs, sometimes some speed work. We're either at the track or sometimes on the grass, and then we'll cool down. And then if it's just an easy run, we'll go around campus and yeah.
Now, Adrian, your 5K, 14 minutes and 26 seconds. How did you get up to that speed and that pace?
Yeah, I think it's just a culmination of years built on years, just consistency, hard work, just keeping consistent with the mileage, the workouts, and all the little things. that revolve around running. That's sleep, nutrition, hydration, things like that. You stack that over a number of years, and you end up getting some pretty good results.
Yeah, and Adrian, staying with you, you came from the University of Portland.
Yes.
What are some of the differences between there and here?
Yeah, so University of Portland was a really small school, but we did have a pretty large team. So we had about 50 guys on that team, just distance runners. Compared to the SEC's roster limit of 10 for cross country, that's quite a difference. But it's been great to kind of have a more intimate team here and just get more time with the coach, more intimate kind of team bond that's really helped us in our first couple of races, and I think will take us far in the rest of the season.
Now for both of y'all, what is y'all's favorite course that y'all have ran at?
My favorite course, I might be biased, but it is in Indiana. It's called Laverne Gibson, and actually the 2026 NCAA Cross Country Championships will be held there.
What about you?
And I actually have to go with the same. Laverne Gibson, it's a really good course. They refer to it as Cross Country Town USA. It's a dedicated cross country course and has a lot of history, really cool to run there. So I'd probably say that's my favorite, yeah.
Well, thank you guys so much for joining us. Good luck to you on the rest of your season. We'll send it back to Aiden.
Yeah, the women's cross-country team is running in the Gans Creek Classic in Columbia, Missouri Friday. The men are running in the Cowboy Jamboree in Stillwater on Friday as well. Well, coming up after the break, we'll talk some more Sooner sports teams who are showing it just means more. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to Sooner Sports Pad. We've talked a ton of OU football, and after that instant classic, it's hard not to, but other OU teams played recently as well, so let's talk about them. I'll start us off with OU volleyball. The Sooners hit the road to Conway, Arkansas, and took on Central Arkansas in its non-conference finale. The Sooners took the first set 25-19, but would drop in the second set in a battle 25-20 after a good run from UCA. Third set goes to the Bears, but OU would force a fifth. However, the Sooners would get upset, dropping set 5 16-14. They fought until the end, literally going the distance, and they dropped to 8-2 on the season. The Sooners open conference play at home Friday against LSU.
Yeah, Aiden, let's take a look at men's golf. The Sooners were swinging on the green last week as they finished 5th at the Invitational at the Honors Course in Tennessee. 3 Sooners finished in the top 15 individually, P.J. Maybank III, Ryder Cohen, and Matthew Troutman. And for the Sooners men's golf squad, this is the 12th top 5 finish in the last 13 regular season events. And up next for the Sooners, a match at the Ben Hogan Collegiate in Fort Worth, Texas on September 29th through the 30th.
And kicking it out to the field, OU women's soccer traveled to Vanderbilt over the weekend. Both teams were scoreless through the first half, and then the Commodores pulled away quick, scoring all 3 goals after in the second half, sending OU back to Norman with a 3-0 loss. Marking the first time OU soccer has been shut out all season, the Sooners will wrap up their September slate when they host the 8th in the nation, South Carolina, this Friday.
Well, coming up, Cam and Hallie will go head-to-head debating on topics from OU's win against Auburn. Keep it here because Face-Off is next. It is time for Face-Off. Cam and Hallie go head-to-head yet again. Hallie won it last week, and let's get the fun started and see if Cam can even up the score. It wasn't the most explosive offensive performance, but it was enough to get the job done. Hallie, who takes home your offensive MVP following the win?
Aiden, proving he is one of the best, I'm going with Heisman material, John Mateer. Mateer completed 16 of his last 17 passes from his 36 attempts and then had the go-ahead touchdown late in the fourth quarter, sending the Tigers home to not-so-sweet Alabama, extending the OU win streak.
Hallie, that's the obvious pick, but what about the guy who seems to be in the middle of everything and still produces? Isaiah Satenya had a team-leading 9 catches for 127 yards in the win, good for 14.1 yards a catch, and he did it all while handling the punt return duties on special teams. I got Satenya.
Now, the defense, on the other hand, was stifling. 9 sacks is absolutely unreal, Cam. So many options. What player stood out the most defensively?
Yeah, Aiden, I'm going to go with who I think might be the overall best player on the team in Jaden Jackson. The sophomore from Indianapolis, Indiana, had 5 tackles, 3 solo, and 2.5 sacks on Jackson Arnold. Jackson was in the backfield all afternoon making plays, and if he keeps this up, he's on his way to All-American honors.
Okay, Cam, Jaden Jackson isn't a bad choice, but did he have a safety? R. Mason Thomas is clearly the defensive MVP, earning SEC Defensive Lineman of the Week, and he didn't even play in the first half. finishing with 4 solo tackles and 2 sacks, and also closing out the game with a safety on Arnold.
Both those guys were incredible on Saturday. I don't think there was a wrong answer there. Great picks. Hallie, what surprised you most about the game?
Aiden, this OU defense is good. Very good, but Oklahoma is the only team in the country that still has not forced a turnover. It is very hard to be 4-0 and still be -6 in the turnover margin, and they are ranked 4th in total defense. Easily the biggest surprise so far in the season.
Yeah, Hallie, still no turnovers is shocking, but the run game being absolutely non-existent for a third of this season is even more of an embarrassment. The Sooners have only had one running back eclipse 100 yards on the ground this year, and their best success has been with the quarterback run, which isn't sustainable in SEC play.
I think you both made some excellent points, but now let's look ahead to next week's game. Cam, what are you looking forward to against the Golden Flashes?
Yeah, Aiden, I'm looking at the cornerback position and specifically at true freshman Cortland Guillory. Number 4 had a rough go at it Saturday, but he held his own against one of the best receivers in college football in Cam Coleman. He was tested on multiple occasions, but for Guillory, this experience early in the season is only going to help him later down the line when the Sooners need him most.
Like we talked about earlier in the show, there is a starting quarterback position to fill, and it will be Michael Hawkins Jr. stepping into that role. People should be looking to see how Hawkins performs these next few weeks. Has he improved from last season? Has Arbuckle helped him? Lots of questions will be answered.
And all the Sooner fans are ready to see those questions answered, but the question we need to answer is who is this week's winner of Face Off? It's time for our audience to decide. If you think it was Cam, let's hear some noise. That's a good reaction. If you think it was Hallie, let me hear you. Yeah! Let's do one more for Cam. Yeah! And another one for Hallie. Yeah! It's a close one this week, but I think our face-off winner is Cam Williams. He's going to even up the series at 1 apiece. Thanks for watching Sooner Sports Pad this week. For Cam Williams and Hallie McPherson, I'm Aiden Tyler. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Same time, same place. Have a good night.